Good day, everyone. Today we are going to have our Module 1 in Science, first quarter, which is all about forces and motion. We are going to have lesson number 3, combined forces, but before that, let us have a short recap or review of our discussion on our previous module. Let us start with question number 1. What do you call the forces that are equal in magnitude and in opposite directions lying on the same line of action? Is it applied forces, balanced forces, or unbalanced forces? Answer please. The correct answer is we have balanced forces. When we say balanced forces, these are forces that are equal in magnitude, in opposite directions, and lying on the same line of action. Let us have question number 2. What type of forces can cause change in the state of motion of an object? Is it normal forces, balanced forces, or unbalanced forces? Answer please. The correct answer is we have unbalanced forces. Unbalanced forces causes change in the state of motion of an object. Question number 3. A pen is hung on a string. What do you call the force that counteracts the pull of gravity that makes the pen stable? What do you call this type of force? Is it applied force, normal force, or tension force? Answer please. The correct answer is we have tension force. So again, on our example, the force that counteracts the pull of gravity is what we call as tension force. Tension force are commonly found on ropes, strings, when they are pulled tightly. Now, let us have our lesson, which is all about combined forces. It is said that several forces may act upon an object. We have balance forces. These forces do not cause a change in motion. For example, in the game of tug of war, if we have Team A, which uses an applied force of 10 Newton, while Team B uses an applied force of 10 Newton, they are equal. That's why there will be no movement, and these forces are called as balance forces. We have also unbalanced forces. These forces causes change in the state of motion of an object. For example, if the Team A uses an applied force of 20 Newton, while Team B uses an applied force of 10 Newton, 20 is greater than 10 Newton. That is why they are unbalanced forces, and there will be a change in the state of motion, and this will be pointing towards the direction of Team A. The question is, how are we going to determine the net or unbalanced force of an object? We need to remember 3 steps. Step 1. In order for us to determine the net or the unbalanced force, we need to combine or add the forces. Again, we need to combine or add the forces. Next step. The algebraic signs, positive and negative, are used to indicate the direction of the forces. And last one, unlike signs are used for forces acting on opposite direction. Again, I would like to repeat, we use unlike signs in order to indicate opposite directions. Now let us have an example. For example, in the case of the pen hung on a string, the gravitational force and the tension force are assigned opposite signs. So we have here the tension force. This will be assigned as positive. And we have gravitational force. We are going to assign this as negative. Now, if both of them are given a magnitude of 2 Newton, the net force along this line will be, we are going to use a formula. The formula for the net force on our example is tension force plus gravitational force. Again, I would like to repeat, for us to get the net or unbalanced force, we need to combine the forces. Since tension force and gravitational force is pertaining to opposite direction, we are going to use opposite signs. Let us have, for the tension force, positive 2 Newton, and for the gravitational force, let us have negative 2 Newton. 2 Newton plus negative 2 Newton, the result will be 0. Now, what does this mean? This means that the force acting on the pencil is balanced. If the sum of the forces is equal to 0, they are considered as balanced, just like on our first example. But if the sum is not equal to 0, the forces are not balanced and they are referred as the net or unbalanced force. Again, if the forces or the sum of the forces is not equal to 0, they are the net or unbalanced force. This net or unbalanced force would cause change in an object's state of motion. Let us have some exercises. Directions. Read and analyze the problems. Solve for the net or unbalanced force acting on the object. Problem number 1. A boy and a girl are pulling a heavy crate at the same time in opposite directions with 8 units of force each. What is the net or unbalanced force acting on the object? Kindly get one whole sheet of paper and try to answer. Again, 8 units acting on opposite direction and another 8 units on the opposite side. Now let us have the solution. So our formula, we have the net force is equals to positive 8 units plus negative 8 units. We use unlike signs since they are on opposite direction. So our answer is 8 plus negative 8, we have 0. What does this mean? This means that they are balanced forces. Next exercise. Problem number 2. A boy and a girl are pulling a heavy crate at the same time with 10 units of force each. What is the net force acting on the object? Again, they use 10 units of force each, pulling at the same time. Since they are pulling on the same time, the force will be on the same direction. Now, try to solve. Okay, let us have now our solution. So the formula, we have the net force is equals to 10 units plus 10 units. As you can see, they are similar signs because they are acting on the same direction. Or also, we can use negative 10 units plus negative 10 units. The answer will be, for the both positive, we have 20 units. And for the both negative, we have negative 20 units. As you can see, the net or the unbalanced force is not equal to 0. That's why they are unbalanced forces. Okay? Next exercise. Problem number 3. What if the boy and a girl pull the heavy box at the same time in opposite directions with 10 units and 5 units of force respectively? What will be the net force on the object? Will the object move? To what direction will it move? Again, we have 5 units on the opposite direction and another 10 units on opposite direction. You have the time to answer. Okay, let us have now our solution. Net force is equals to 10 units plus negative 5 units. As you can see again, we use different or unlike signs since the forces are acting on the opposite direction. And the result or unbalanced force is equals to 5 units. This means that the object will move because of the unbalanced force. It will move to the direction with greater force. So it will move to this direction because 10 units is greater than 5 units. That will be all for our discussion for today. Thank you very much for listening.